When you hear this sound, that means turn the page. And now we begin our exciting adventure of...
Well, girl, let me tell you, I had heard that a Lonnie Lowe, you know him, child. He was going to be on a show with that OneYoungsta. And you ain't heard it from me, but I'm telling you, that show is about to be lit. That is right, lit. Late Ill Kid at OneYoungsta doing this thing, holding it down, keeping it real for y'all. And check it today. I got another special guest, man. Yo, this dude, man. Yo, an ill writer, ill creator. I'm glad to bring him to you, Mr. Lonnie Lowe Jr. Yo, what's up, man?
What's going on, man? Shout out to everybody, man. Happy to be here. Good to be on the show, man. I really enjoyed what I've been hearing so far, so I've been dying to come on here and talk to you.
Cool. Now, we got you on here because you just dropped something recently, but since I don't want to spoil it for everybody, what have you just came out with recently?
I just dropped issue number 4 of Epic Earth Protected Crisis, a creator-owned property that I've been putting together for quite some time, so it's a blessing as an indie to get 2 issues. You know, this is a 3-issue curse with independent creators, so, you know, we had 4, so it's not a major milestone. We still got a lot of work to go, but I'm just happy to be at this point right now.
Yeah, man, and I got a chance to check out all the 4 issues real quick at once, and I'll be honest, I do prefer the like trade paperback type of route. So I do like reading like more issues than just one issue at a time, and I do like the direction it's going. But for people that don't know about Epic, give them your quick rundown of what Epic is.
Well, Epic is pretty much centered around a young archaeology major, and through a series of twists and turns, he lands his hands on like a real powerful object, and in doing so, he releases power back into the earth that it hasn't seen for thousands of years. So the planet goes from ordinary to extraordinary in a matter of minutes. So the minute he activates this object, people all over start getting powers, and so subsequently they're all drawn to him. So no matter where he is, it's ground zero. so and the way his power works, he can't really control it, so he kind of goes into autopilot. So if whoever's activated, if they're good, he's cool, but if they're evil, it's time to die.
Yeah. And as someone who just checked these joints out recently, man, I'm telling you, he's right. Wherever he's at is ground zero. Like, trouble really follows him, almost to the point where there's a couple of characters who are sort of blaming him, and maybe rightfully so, for this whole issue, even though, because I'm trying to keep this spoiler free as much as possible, there is someone else who is the true, I guess, nucleus of this whole situation.
Yeah, but, you know, it's who you see, you know, there's always somebody in the shadows, but it's the person who steps out in the light who gets the blame. You know what I mean? It's like Superman gets the blame. You know, so
yeah, man.
So it's so I mean, we're having the ball. I got about maybe 3 years written. So we're just going through the motions to get the books out to the people.
Cool. Now, how has the reception been, man? Because I enjoyed it, but, you know, I'm already kind of like predisposed to heroes and stuff. So I've seen, you know, you've been like, you know, they've been shining the light on you from like, you know, CBR to like other outlets. So like, how's the response been for the book in general? You
know, it's been dope, man. Like it's all new to me. So I don't have a writing background. I used to do music, so from there I just made the transition here. So it's just a different type of energy. It's cool to actually have people, I guess fans. I was at Comic-Con last year, and like a couple people met me and knew about the book and kind of geeked out. And I was like, man, I was telling the guy I was with at the time who came out there with me, I was like, bro, he's geeking out. Like, they love what we're doing. You know what I mean? So it's real cool. And I got in the book I mentioned at a panel, and then the whole room turned around, and I'm like, so I can't fail now because all these people just stare at me right in the face like, yeah, we know you now. So it's pretty cool. It's fun. It is really fun. So
yeah.
I've been enjoying it.
I've definitely been enjoying it, and I'm definitely going to get back into the book because there's a couple of characters I want to talk about.
Okay, cool.
But I do want to jump into the main reason that we have Cold Chillin'. Whenever someone comes on to Choppin' Up Geek, we got to ask, who's your favorite superhero and why?
One, you never want to be cheesy and say your own character. So,
well, if it is, it is. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that.
I think...
even though the reason why may be a spoiler for people who haven't read yet, but...
I know, but I'm going to say... if I had to pick one, you will laugh. But honestly, Black Vulcan, and I'll tell you why.
Okay.
When I was young, my TV only had about 4 or 5 channels.
Word.
I'm a man of a certain age.
I'm a
so
man of a certain age.
Know about that. so all I had was Super Friends.
Word.
And so Black heroes, I mean, we had Super Friends, G.I. Joe, Transformers, yada yada. So Black superhero wise, I had Black Vulcan and Brown Hornet, and eventually, I remember when Cyborg came on TV. So Black Vulcan was my dude. He was the only one on there, even though he always got. I was like, man, why he always getting beat up? But I had to ride for my guy. And the funny thing is, I met Tony Isabella at Xbox, and Black Vulcan is a derivative of Black Lightning.
Yeah.
And so it made me go back to Black Lightning, and I remember talking to Isabella, and I had to thank him, even though he kind of got jerked out of the Black Vulcan thing, because without Black Vulcan, without Black Lightning, there wouldn't have been Black Vulcan. I wouldn't have had nobody to watch on TV that looked like me.
Word.
You know what I'm saying? So coming up, that was my initial favorite superhero. And then, as I got older in books and all that, Milestones took over everything. But as a kid, he was the first one. So by default, he's my favorite because everything I knew about a Black superhero, so to speak, visually was him.
All right. Speaking of Black Vulcan, when I remember just, all I can remember is the way they used to draw, that suit, man. That suit,
oh my God, it was the worst. Dude,
man, them little underwear joints and oh man.
Yeah, man. The drawers on the outside. Yeah, poor guy. He had the chest all out, but the Thunder, then they colored it in, and he flew cool though. When he was flying, his whole bottom half was lightning. That was cool, and he could manipulate his little lightning. But they must have made his costume with the leftover parts from everybody else's costume, and even the Hall of Justice wardrobe was all right.
The seamstress was out that weekend. It was just look, just take this.
Just put it on. I promise you, look cool. I'm not lying.
You're fine. Trust me. You're gonna be good.
Yeah. It was him and Brown Hornet. That's what I had.
Man. All right, cool. Now, back to a couple of your characters. One that I've been sort of into is Alloy. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I've always been into Colossus characters like that can just turn into steel or something immediately. What are your plans for Alloy in the future? Is she still going to kind of be a situation where we kind of see her periodically, or is she gonna kind of take a forefront kind of role? Who is Alloy?
Alloy plays a pivotal role, and a lot of the characters do, because Epic is so stoic sometimes that the emotion comes from the other heroes around him and going through what they're dealing with. When he's in human form, you get that, but when he shows up as Epic, he's like the Terminator. You know what I mean? He's like, whatever, who got the guy? Okay, whoop him. And then he flies off, So a lot of the emotion, a lot of the character conflict will come from everybody surrounding them. And the cool thing about Alloy is she has a real big part in the story, and it'll weave in and out through the year, and you'll see her grow, and there'll be a big event that happens with her that I think people are gonna really like. It's gonna be pretty dope. But she's there, man. If I had the finances, I could probably do about 3 or 4 books a month, honestly.
Word.
And yeah, so it's all written out, but she's definitely a key. She's definitely in the fan favorite. So a lot of people like Alloy just because I think that she's badass. She don't even play. It's nothing to ball her fist up and get to work, you know. But there's a human side to her too. I mean, she's like a true hero. She's really using her power for good and really trying to make a difference.
Word. Now, on to another character. Then I'll start badgering you because since it's brand new, I'm like all excited about it. That whenever, and I mean this is no diss to like stuff that I already read, but I usually like to get into things that are different from the big two because it's like something that's fresh and new that like I can explore, and like the world building as far as like Epic is concerned, it's just something like new to me where I'm like, cool, this isn't in New York, this isn't in LA, this isn't DC, this isn't Marvel or something. This is something that like is brand new to me. So I'm very, very inquisitive now, which is, I don't know if this would be considered a spoiler or not. I guess, yeah, well, okay. There's a character that it seems to be in a mentor role to Epic. And without giving away a spoiler that I think happens in issue 3, just tell me a little bit about this character who seems, because I don't remember if I caught his name or not, or I don't think he's.
It's Udemses.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the pictures are out, so it's cool. He is. He had the alpha bands first, and so when he initially had him, when everything was cool and he took them off, his body disintegrates and his soul attaches to the band.
Okay.
And so when Epic reactivated the alpha band, he comes back in spirit form and acts like a god. And so the same thing is going to happen to Chris when he's done and he removes the alpha band. So right now, Udemses is acting as a spirit guide, trying to train him and let him know what's coming. He's a lot more harsh than Chris because he's been there. He's been in that war. He's been in the battle. He was the one who was fitted with him first, and he's royalty, so he doesn't understand how Chris should have these because he's normal, so to speak, and he's regular, and he's not royalty, and he doesn't really have what it takes to rule, period, so let alone judge and let alone, make those necessary sacrifices. So like I said, he's war-torn, so he's already been in a major battle. And so he's lost lives and he's seen cities crumble because of what happens with his power. And so he's impatient and he's prepping them at the same time because he has to prep them because he knows that he's all that the planet has at this moment. So he has to prepare him to the best of his ability.
Word. All right, cool. Yeah, because I'm definitely feeling, especially kind of like the way he came out like, all right, well, where's your kingdom?
Yeah, he's like, hold on, wait. This is supposed to go to another ruler. This is supposed to go to another king. Yeah, no, bro, that's just not you. So, okay, so where's your stuff? You know what I mean? He's looking at, because at his time, royalty dealt with royalty in a different way.
Yeah.
And they dealt with common folk in a whole different way. So he's having this inner struggle, like, why am I talking to this like he's on my level? But he had to realize he's all that they got. I mean, it's him. So, I got to find some kind of way to train this boy.
Yeah. Well, something, Something that I really, really enjoyed, and I'll do a separate review for everybody listening. I'm gonna do a separate review for all 4 issues at once, similar to how I do my other trade reviews on Respond React, probably on Monday or something. But the one thing that I really like is an issue that I have with Black comics in general, and we don't have to name names, but usually when you go to like ECBAC or like some Black comic book convention, like maybe like what is it, Dragon Con or something like that, you go there and every single book it's Black, but it's almost like they have to prove that it's Black. Like
the blackity black, the black book.
It's like
the super Black.
Man, like I have a book right now that I'm literally looking at and I haven't opened, and I bought it almost out of guilt because I was like, man, let me go in and buy this book. But like there's like a Ankh all big and like huge on the front of the cover. It's like, and I don't have a problem with the Ankh symbol. I don't. And, I might not know all of the Ankh's history, but, I know it is firmly rooted in African history, and not Africa, the country, Africa, the continent.
Yeah.
Africa that is probably physically larger than like North America and all that stuff, but they represent it smaller on the map. But
right.
They represent it at like the size of like, I don't know, like South America or something like that. But
Kansas.
Yeah. But it's like
little place.
Yeah. But like every time I see a Black book, it's either, extremely onked out or like extremely like this is straight from the streets. It can't get any more street. Like this is, you might as well be looking at like Beanie Siegel, The Life Story or something like that. And
like when you open the pages, bullet shells kind of fall out.
Yeah, it's like come on, man. And it's like when you're surrounded by material like that, how are you able to kind of like make a book and maybe is it conscious that you stay away from that, or is it like just natural that you stay away from, kind of creating something that's like overtly Black? Because like your book doesn't, like there's a Black character in the lead, there are other Black characters there, but there's, it doesn't seem like you're trying to like force us to like notice that it's a Black book.
It was conscious, man. I've seen a lot of stuff done it easier. I said, let me do it, but let me do it right. You know what I mean? Nobody was there. Nobody knows. You know what I mean? All this, what goes on. I said, let me touch it. I touched it, and then I just got past it. I said, cool, let's start it here and then go. The problem, I think, is what their inner goals are. A lot of people have inner goals and then outer goals.
Yeah.
And these guys, heart to heart, they want to make a super Black character for all the Black people in the world can love. But it gets so Black that they alienate your readers. Most Black folks I know don't know about no Ankhs and all of these super symbols and all that. And it comes from too deep and unnecessary information. You don't have time to teach somebody all of this stuff.
Word.
You know what I mean? The whole point of this is just make a dope ass book, bro. Just make a dope book that everybody can enjoy. Money is free. You're not doing the genre or the movement, if they want to say, no justice by alienating readers. We've been alienated. So what are you doing? I mean, you're doing the same thing that's been done to us. Write a dope story that can hold anybody's attention. And just let it stand up and be what it's going to be. I'm Black, and I'm from the hood. I grew up in the crack era, and I've seen it all. Big deal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? This ain't about me. It's about a kid, a college kid with parents, powers, just like everybody else. You got to change the perception. So I could have wrote a 1,000-bullet story. At every page, you got to duck because somebody will be pointing gun at you. I could have wrote biggity black book, but it ain't helping nothing. Just write a good book. Write a good book. You know what I mean? Epic could be Asian. You know what I mean? It's a good book. Just let it be that. So that
even though I do love the dreads, like when he's flying and stuff, like that's crazy to me. I love that. I love like the suit. I like the tech of like the arm bands or whatever. Like it just like the tech of like especially like the art on the covers, and the art when in action sequences really it kind of it just grabs me because like I'm an artist myself, so it grabs me when I'm like, man, this dude just looks cool, and like kind of like you were going to say, like you don't have to. The representation matters, but not representation to the point where it's like, oh, well, I'm going to prove to all of y'all that the Ankh is the most great. No, just make it cool. Like, it can just be cool. Like, other characters don't have to, like, prove themselves to be white. You know what I'm saying? So,
right.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, you shouldn't have to try to, like, continuously prove, that you're a black character. It's just, it just blows me away. But
it gets in the way of creativity because your book turns angry. It gets in the way of good storytelling because your book turns angry, and it gets in the way of your professional growth and your growth as a brand because your book is angry. So you paint yourself into this corner where only black people, angry black people, can read your book. Some of these books are so racist. It's hard for me to but they have such a racial that you can't even, like, you can't sell them to nobody. You can't sell some of these books to no white folks or nobody else. It's like, I understand, there may be, we've been oppressed and all of that, but it's just a certain level. It's too much. I'm like, bro, I can't. Like, I went to, and I had to, and see, you said you felt like you had to buy the book.
Yeah.
I went to Southern Maryland Comic Con, and I can't call these brothers out, but the way when I hit the floor, I'm going to all creators of color. I'm like, all right, let me see what the folks at, get a pulse. So I go to these brothers, and they had probably the worst book I ever seen in my life. And I'm thinking, damn, these are grown men. But my initial introduction, I was so excited to see them. I didn't even look down at what they had. And I said, man, I grabbed the book like you. And as I walked away and I opened it up, I'm like, bruh, some 8-year-olds did this.
Yeah.
I told myself, I'll never sympathy buy because sympathy buy doesn't help what we're doing, what we're trying to do. If you buy crappy books, it's still a crappy book.
Yeah, because the book I'm referring to right now is still sitting in my bookshelf. I got it at like WonderCon 2013. As we all know, it's 2016. I haven't read page 1 of that joint. Like I just have it.
I probably know which book it is.
You know, like start going back to my Facebook feed, be like 2013. What picture?
I already know what book it is. I already know what book it is. It's 1 of 3, so I already know.
But it's just cool to see that you created like these characters, and some of them are analogs of other characters that we've seen. But of course, there's so many superhero books. Like it's almost like, what do there's only so many ways you can flip this around. But these characters still find a way to, like, I guess, be themselves inside of the world that you created, which I really enjoy. And one breakout that I would really, really like to, I guess, focus in on is there's a cover that you have. I think it's an alternate cover. And I want to give a shout out to the artist. I believe the cover is it's issue 2, and it's like Arise Alphas, and it has Alloy stopping like a Mack truck in front of this kid. That cover is like, and then you got like Epic in the back with like the sun shining behind him. It's like that cover.
Yeah, the slow.
That's that type of cover that someone's like, I'ma buy this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. When I thought of that cover, and the artist, his name is Barry. He's pretty cool, real dope artist. Mm-hmm. And initially, when he sent it to me at first, I didn't have Epic floating. I said, nah, it's his book. He got to be there somewhere. So I said, hey, put him in the corner and just have him hands folded, eyes radiating energy. But the cover, I really wanted to introduce her, because in that issue, we're really introducing some of the key players that's going to play a role you see in the next 2 issues. Yeah. So I had to, and I love alternate covers, and I read somewhere where, just like if you're an indie, don't waste your time on alternative covers, but without that alt cover, we wouldn't even be having this conversation. Yep. And it's one of my best selling shirts. And issue 2 was that's the book that got us in comic book resources. So, ooh. I mean, that was a real pivotal book. Yeah. And that cover, it was a dope cover. And it just, the way she shows up in that issue, you know what I mean? You can see what she's doing and what she's about. And you see her holding the truck back, and then you go a few pages, and she's on the phone holding a sports car up with one hand like it's nothing.
Yeah. And,
you know what I mean?
Also, so, like, that cover kind of like, and shouts to Barry, because, like, it's, man, that joint was dope. It like really grabbed me. And like the cover kind of shows everything that you need to know about that issue. Cause you have Epic in this kind of like watchtower role. Like where he's kind of seeing everything that's going on.
Right.
But he's not like directly involved. But then you have Alloy that's like really, really getting down to the dirt and grit. And, like the coloring is on point. The lines are on point. Like, it's dope to see like this book, that you've put a lot of love into this book. Like, like you've picked, you can tell that you've gone over like what the art looks like, you've been interested in how it comes out, how it's colored, things like that. And you know what I'm saying? That's really dope, especially when it comes to like indie kind of crowd, when sometimes like, we already know. And I mean, I'm sure some of our listeners know, you go and you see indie stuff and sometimes it's not always up to par. You know what I'm saying?
That was a major, what I do with my books, and this is, I mean, maybe other indies do it too. Whenever I get a cover, I take it to the comic book store and I set it on the shelf. And I kind of step back and kind of look at it, like, how does this feel right here? Does it belong here? Will you pass this cover up? And so I step back, and I've gone through a couple covers on a couple issues that I won't use, and I've had artists reach out to me. I'm like, don't worry, you got paid. Shut up. But I know, because they're real emotional, but I sit back and I look at it, and I'm like, all right, okay, we good, we got something.
Yeah, and
because this is a dope cover.
Yeah, and matter of fact, real quick, to all of my artists out there, because I usually, every now and then on my 3 for 5 at OneYoungsta podcast, I'll do like talking about just artistry in general and things like that, because I work in design. I'm also an illustrator. I'm working on a book, I'm working on a children's story book right now, but I've done right. 2 indie comics before. And when someone doesn't like your work, that's not not always. And like right. 80-90% of the time, it is not a knock on you personally. Art is subjective. So, perfect example, like I might have a certain art style, but for Epic, my art style doesn't work because my art style is more loose and cartoony. So my style would never work for Epic. But that doesn't mean that you hate me or hate my art style.
Right.
That just means that it doesn't work for what you're doing. And I think a lot of it's hard to separate that, because as an artist, yes, you do spend a lot of time trying to like draw this or color this or, put out the perspective or, get the picture to come across with the emotion that you want, only to have somebody say, no, I don't like it in like 2 seconds. But you have to realize that it's not you that they don't like. It's not you personally. It's they look at that and they know, oh, this doesn't fit. Like, since I'm in design every day, this doesn't fit our brand.
Right.
Like, you made this, but this doesn't fit Target, or this doesn't fit Nike, or this doesn't fit Johnson & Johnson, whatever the brand may be. Like, your design might be amazing, but it doesn't fit the particular brand or the particular style that they're looking for. So it's not that you can't do this or that you can't create that. It's just that it doesn't work for this specific job. And I wish that a lot of us would kind of, and when I say a lot of us, I mean artists, would kind of like realize that, dude, it's not about you. You know what I'm saying? It's about the message. Our art is supposed to convey a message in the best way possible. And in this case, in this case, we're talking about covers. So my art is supposed to convey the message of epic. All right. And my art style is very cartoony. So if I was to do an issue for a cover or submit a cover for Epic, you look at it and be like, nah, because I'm not making like a
right.
I don't know, like 8 to 12 book, I guess. You know what I'm saying? So you'd be like, I'm not making an 8 to 12 book, so this doesn't work. You know what I'm saying? And I wouldn't, it's not a situation where it's like, yo,
right,
Mike, you suck. No, it's like, Mike, this doesn't work for what I make. And honestly, you should already know, because you should have already seen the book. You know what I'm saying?
And it goes both ways. Creators, period. This is our art. This is what we put our heart into, but it's a business and it's treated as such. Like, I pay for my art.
Yeah.
So even if I may not use pieces of cover, I still put it out there for everybody to see, because the artists work hard on it. But I've seen rejection destroy artists. And you can really see, like what they say, success and money makes you who you really are. As an artist, rejection it really shows people who, like, I had to separate business from somebody because how they handle criticism and how they handle rejection. And then I've had an artist completely shut down. I think he submitted a cover to an indie, a major indie, a big indie. And he worked hard on it. And he had built relationships with the people there. So I think he thought he was a shoo-in because of those relationships. And when his cover got rejected, I called him. I'm like, hey, so what we going to do, man? We going to move? He's like, man, they just sent my cover back. And I'm like, bro, so what? Like, so what? I didn't get into this to work for anybody, so I don't know how that feels. Because I never wanted to work for anybody. I came into this like, this is my stuff, and this is what I'm going to do, because I don't want to be bothered with no damn body telling me what I need to write. And that's not... So I don't know how it feels to be like, I sent this to DC with all my heart, or Marvel, or Image, and man, I don't care nothing about them folks. They're not thinking about you. Yeah. Keep on creating. But it gets emotional because it's an extension of your gift, so I get it. But at the same time, it's still a business. I've been rejected. I've had stories come back. I ain't crying about that. I just submit stories because a submission was available. I don't care if they like it or not, because I got other stuff to do. You know what I mean? So it's just a different approach. I always came in to be my own boss versus working with somebody.
And I'll be honest, you know what I'm saying? Like, I live in LA. I work in my field. So I'm not to like dog anyone out, but I'm out here and I'm doing it every day. I work in my field and I'm relatively good at what I do when it comes to like designing, coding, illustration, like web animation, stuff like that. So I've got a general eye for design. And then outside of that, I still create, for Instagram. I do like art projects all the time. Like, I do Analog Girls now. And I'm sure you've seen some of my art on, on Facebook or whatever, because me and you.
Yeah.
So, like, you can see, like, outside of my 9 to 5, I'm still creating. And a lot of artists don't do that. They don't keep their skills fresh for, I guess you could say, like, personal projects. Because you have to have something that's yours, something that you have the approval process over. Like for you, it's your book. You know what I'm saying? Like you have the approval process over your book. For me, I have the approval process over Scribble Jam, which was the art that I did when I was drawing the music. Black Love, when I did all of the black couples during February. Analog Girls, which I'm drawing right now. Also, my channel on YouTube. I have the approval process over that. I designed the thumbnails. Don't nobody tell me how to do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's like you need to have that stuff. So I can be silly on my intros and outros, like I am, because I'm silly. But you need to have that because in the daytime, at your 9 to 5, you're usually getting rejected. Like none of my designs. It's very rare my first design goes through and gets approved. Because that's just how it is. You're making something with somebody.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like if I'm drawing for your comic book, I can't. There's no way I can draw something and expect just to get the first approval. Like, oh, I'm gonna draw this and it's gonna be just approved the first pass. That
never happens.
Almost never
happens.
Ever happens. I think that's happened to me once in the last maybe year. I think it's like I've gotten in the last week. I've gotten like I don't know. Like 8 or 9 things sent back to tweak this or put this to the left or make this a little more blue or remove that, we don't need that information there, replace it with this or something like that.
It comes from though a lot of artists don't have honest support systems. If you're growing up and you drawing stick figures and your mama kisses on your forehead, this is the greatest stick figure, and every picture goes on the refrigerator and all through your stuff, you know what I mean? Nobody's saying, hey, your hands could be better. So everybody knows hands is the worst and the hardest part. Your hands could be dope, your expressions. Nobody studies. A guy on my timeline just got rejected from one of the big two, and he's getting pats on the back, and I go look at his work and I'm like, yeah, I can see why. It's not good. It's not, and it's okay to not be good. No one starts off good. It's a process, but you got to be honest with yourself. Like, can you really look at this and think that it belongs next to Jim Lee and Joe Madden? No, bro, are you serious, bro? You can't. You know what I mean? And it's just about actualities and realities. In this particular person, or anybody's reality, they're the greatest thing since sliced bread. In actuality, you're just another number. And so your number can get called, or your number can get called based on what you do. And a lot of people, get caught up in their own mind. I mean, if you look at all our books, I'm learning in front of people. So every harsh review I get, I take it back and be like, okay, and I go through it, And I remember, Black Girl Nerds gave me a review, and she prepped me like, well, I just want you to know we a little honest and and I think it was the best review I ever got because it showed me, okay, cool, I need to work on this, I thought it was a dope review. I mean, they were honest, and I think she prepped me because they probably did that to somebody else and they just freaked out or just broke down into pieces. I'm like, I'm from Lando. Ain't nothing you can say to me that I ain't heard before. But it was a good review. It was really a good review. And then it showed potential, what we needed to work on. So I went right back to the drawing board. And I'm like, okay, this makes sense. I don't have a mentor. So all this is OJT for me. I just start cracking open books and going to seminars and workshops and Googling how to do this. Nobody's over my shoulder like, this should be like this, that should be like that. I'm opening comics and I'm creating from what I see. So it don't bother me.
I feel you. Yeah, I feel you. And to all of my artists out there, maybe not 9 times out of 10, but I'd say 7 times out of 10, when someone asks you to change something, it makes it better. Like it does. Even in my stuff, if I design something, or if I'm working on a website, or if I'm drawing something, 7 times out of 10, when someone's like, hey, what if we move this? Or what if we remove this?
Right.
After I remove it and look at it again for a couple of minutes, or go away from it for about an hour, come back and look at it, I'm like, you know what? I do like this better, because this is a collaboration. You know what I'm saying?
Or if it works for hire.
That's how it is.
Or if it works for hire. And somebody says, and that's what they want. So, you know what? Get a man what he wants. If the check clear or it hits your PayPal, do your job.
Yeah, because there's been things that I've made that are not in my portfolio for the exact reason that you said. Yeah. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I mean, people check out my portfolio every day because, like, I talk this design and I talk this art stuff, and people are like, well, let me go on his site. And then they go on my site and they see, oh, this dude has done work for Hulu. Oh, this dude has done work for Purina. So, like, I'm not lying.
Your site is dope, though. Your site looks like a series of just high-profile ads. I'm like, does he draw? I see dope design. I'm like, damn. So I'm peeling through. I'm like, all right, maybe we can. Okay, when I'm ready to get a billboard, I'm gonna go ahead and reach out to this brother because I know he does bomb-ass work on a major scale.
Because, like,
I was like, yeah, he's serious with it. There's that dope site.
Like, perfect example. Like when I worked with Purina, yeah, he liked the work. He even liked my first version, but we still tinkered with it and pared it down. Maybe like 5 or 6 passes before it was really done. So I mean, even though I'm still dope enough to work with Purina, they're not just going to take the first thing and be like, oh, this is it. Right. They took the first thing and was like, oh, okay, cool, this is good. I see where you're going. All right, well, why don't we move this a little bit? Or why don't we try adding this? And, we pared it down over maybe 5 or 6 drafts, and then we had the finished version. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's like, it's just crazy. When you look at people and they take rejection, because trust me, rejection is tough. But I think the more that you get it, the better you are, because like you see it coming. You're like, oh, well, I know this is about to get rejected.
Right, and tough is just scanning up, and it also lets you know that it's a business, man. These people not thinking about hurting your feelings. They got a job to do.
Yeah.
Man, there's a deadline to meet, and there's a certain image, and there's a certain branding stamp that they want to put on it, or it's a certain way they want the story to look, and they want it to read and pace a certain way. And so it ain't always, it's never really about you. It's about the ultimate goal, and sometimes people don't understand it. You're just a cog in the machine.
Word.
However important you think your cog is, the bottom line is, it's about your piece of a whole.
Yeah, it's like, how do you
if
help
your
this?
Piece don't fit, they move it.
Yeah, it's like one thing that I could say to a lot of artists is like when you go into a job, don't go in there thinking like I'm the best thing in the world. Just go in there thinking like, how can I make this better? You know what I'm saying? Like, go in there as a service. Don't go in there as a superstar. You know what I'm saying? Go in there saying like, yo, how can I be better? What can I do to help y'all guys be better? You know what I'm saying? And it's a different approach. But, let's go and switch some gears because I'm interested to see what you're doing next. I'm going to San Diego. Are you going to be there?
Not this year, man. I got an ailing family member, so I've been saving my time because I may have to fly home to Maryland, but I'm sick, man. I really may just take a car because I'm in Arizona, so it's a 5-hour drive, and I'm thinking, man, I may just go for one day real quick, just to high five and take pictures and just come on back, man. Because I went and I had a ball. And every time I go to conventions, it's certain people I see all the time. So I always have fun talking shop with these people. You never really get to talk comics with creators. Yeah. And it's dope to get time to talk to these people, to talk to David Walker and Ken Lashley and Michael Davis and Joe Illidge and Brandon East. Like, I talk to these people. They're not my homies.
Joe Illidge, I still not had a chance to talk to Joe Illidge on a personal level.
Oh my God! Let me tell you something about
amazing
Big Brother Joe. You can mentor yourself vicariously through his knowledge, and that's what I do. Him, Michael Davis, Brandon Easton, and a few other guys.
Yeah,
they're who I learn from. These are the guys I learn from. And everything Michael Davis writes, you know, his stuff, you'll learn that. Even when he goes on a rant, there's probably more knowledge in that shit than you'll get from most seminars and workshops you go through. And then Joe Illich, just he's business, and he understands what we're going through. And the dude is a wealth of knowledge. And then Brandon Easton just give you straight talk, and he's in the business, and then he's been out. So whenever you get the chance to talk to these guys, and then they recognize you and they know you a little bit, you know what I mean? Not like we're super homies, but I say, hey, Lonnie Lowe Jr., oh, epic, okay, cool. And I can chop with these dudes? That's crazy. So every opportunity I get, I want to, because I want to learn from them. They know, I won't say they know everything, but compared to what I know, they know everything, you know, and these are the guys who, information that I follow. Like, they're writing my syllabus to me learning about comics. They don't know it, you know what I mean? I mentor myself vicariously through what they do.
Word.
So I may go Saturday. Like, I may leave my house at 7, get there at 12, kick it to 7, and drive all the way back.
All right, well, let me know, man, because I'll be down there Friday. But yeah, you're right, man. Like, Brandon, yo, big shout out to Brandon, because he got that Civil War II Choosing Sides out. You guys need to go cop it. I was actually giving away.
You got to, that night for that.
Yeah, I was actually giving away a few issues at VidCon when I went there. I had some issues, gave away some. But yeah, man, it's just like, because him and I, we went to see The Purge the other night on Thursday. And just in that small amount of time that I was with him, the amount of knowledge and the amount of like confirmation that he gave to me just about what I'm doing on YouTube, you know what I'm saying? Because I am, you know, sort of, and I've only been doing this for 2 months, but I am in a way kind of like creating a platform for people that look like me to be able to talk about the things that are important to them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Where normally they may not have had that. You know what I'm saying? And I just, you know, it's important. And, you know, he's straight up, and he lets you know like how important this is. And then he's also cool, man. He's been like, Brandon has been nothing but good to me. And like a lot of these brothers, like Hannibal, Taboo's been nothing but good to me. Like,
yeah, he's dope, man. That's another guy that I listen to. Like, when he, you know, and he's helped me personally on a couple things, because I shot him issue 1, issue 2, issue 3, and there was something wrong with issue 3, and he put me up on things like, nah, you can't do this, you gotta do this and this. Also, what do you know about this? I'm like, absolutely nothing. I'm teaching myself. He said, hold on, wait. Shot me a couple links, and he got me together. I mean, these guys are really, these are good guys. They just seem genuine, and they want us to win, and because they know we represent the movement. So you can't be half-assed out here, because the light can shine on anybody at any time. And so it's cool that they invest their knowledge and just give me a little piece. This is going to make you that much better. So these guys are dope. My hat's off to all of them.
Yeah, man. Like, those guys are really, really good cats, man. Now, as far as Epic is concerned, you're here at issue 4. Sorry, I'm so used to watching TV. Issue 4. You're here at issue 4. Like, is there a plan for a trade after, say, 5 or 6 issues?
This is how I feel about trades. In indies, like, we need that money. Like, I need my money now. And so, you know, when I first started, I was digital, and guys were like, oh, I like physical books. I need a physical book. So I made it print on demand. So now I get print on demand sales. I'm like, I'll just wait till volume this comes out. And on this level, at this stage, without the support of our readers, we may not make it to volume this. And so I don't have 18 billion or 20 billion just in the mattress when I can do movies and books all year. Like, we doing this, a lot of creatives, and yourself included, you got a 9 to 5, and then this is just 6 to 12, you know what I mean? And so I need all that. I may, but I got to get these issues. Without the money for the issues, I can't make more issues.
Yeah.
So without making more issues, there'll never be a volume, whatever. You know, even though the first kind of volume is over at issue 3, and I could, in a sense, tie it together. I'm not going to do that because then you got cheapies who only want to spend X amount of dollars on the book. So what I am thinking about doing is doing the Udemses prequel, putting a couple 4-page stories together, and then I may tie it up for Christmas because at my rate, I may be able to get 5 or 6 done before this year is over, and then I'll do that for Christmas. But it's just hard to push volume because we need the money to create more. Like, all of this comes out of my pocket, and nobody's giving me a break.
I understand.
You know, I'm paying the same amount of money. Yeah, you know, like I got issue 3. ChrisCross did the cover.
Wow. For
Milestone. I mean, I was floored that, you know, I caught him at a generous time. You know, he was putting together some cash for the wedding, and he shot a special out. I need you to do this for me, please. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't care what he was going to charge. I'd have to put it on layaway. I had to put something on it. I was like, look, man, let's finance it or something. I don't care what you know.
And I mean, and it's worth it, man. That cover is dope.
That's one of my biggest selling T-shirts. You know what I mean? Just Epic just staring you right in the face, and the energy just coming off of one eye.
Yeah, like the rocks floating and stuff is just.
Yeah, and Kate Finnegan did the colors. Yeah, man, she was dope on the colors. She made it pop. But yeah, man, ChrisCross looked out for me. You know, but I mean, you know, without that money that I got from issue 2, I would never been able to even approach him with the funds to do the cover for issue 3. So, like, yeah, you want to do it because that's the norm, and it'd be dope to have it all together. But it's just getting to that point and getting the support to get to that point. Like, if the support grows, hell yeah, I'd do it. I'd love to do it. I could write. Like I said, 3 years of this is planned always, like written out. And I write down ideas all the time. So it'd be dope to do volume 1, volume 2, but we just got to get there.
Word up. Now, 2 more questions about the book, then I promise I'll leave you alone.
No, I'm good. We got time, man. We can chat.
All right, Torque. I love speedsters. So, what are your plans that aren't spoiler for Torque in the future? Like, are we going to see more, see less?
Torque isn't. I mean, he is a speedster technically, but he's not. That's not all he can do. So he can take the relative power of any engine and convert it to speed, strength, or healing. So what you see him doing now is a lot of speedster stuff because he has to rely on speed in those situations. But there's going to come a time when he needs to rely on power, and you'll see him use power. And then there's going to come a time where he has to rely on healing, and you'll see him use it for healing. So it's not just a speedster in the sense of a Flash or you know. So he does, the power is used for those 3 things. So, but yeah, you see him running a lot because, you know, it's all new to everybody. So this is all he knows that he can do right now.
Cool. All right. So I'm interested to see how that translates. I'm interested to see how that plays out. That's pretty cool. Now, I know, you know, when it comes to writers, you guys always have to like look ahead. You guys always have to plan ahead. What do you have planned for next year, as far as Epic is concerned? Like, what cons are you looking at being at? Like, you know, are you planning on speaking anywhere? Are you planning on any special issues or annuals or anything? You know,
I think next year is going to be, I want to travel a lot next year. And so, you know, without this family issue, I definitely would have been at San Diego, even if it was just to hang out at the hotel after parties, you know what I mean?
Word.
But I'm taking all my vacation to hit cons. I want to do Baltimore. I want to do New York. I want to go back to Xbox because for me that's where it all started. And I don't necessarily like getting tables, so to speak. And I'll explain why. Like, I like to move and shake and talk to people.
Yeah.
And, like, you at the table 8 to 10 hours a day. And even when I was at AwesomeCon, I was just at AwesomeCon in D.C., and I just walked the floor, and a couple people recognized me, and I took a couple pictures and spent a little bit of money. But the money that, like, say you go for a weekend or you get a table and it's $300-$400. And so you got to hope that you sell enough to make your money back, or get a little more. I'm gonna go and take that $400 or whatever. I'm gonna buy books and I'm gonna just give them away. And people look at me like I'm stupid, but I gotta move, bro. I can't sit still. I was one of those kids. I'm a fidget, so I'm gonna be on the floor. Even when I went to San Diego Comic-Con, we were there for 3 days. I probably gave them hundreds of books. The little kids, just people. Just talking to people. I got a chance to chop with Erica Alexander.
Yeah, she is so cool. Shouts out to
homie.
Erica and Tony Perrier, man.
And Tony,
they
cool,
both,
man.
They're so cool.
And she wouldn't let me give her Epic. She's like, I'm gonna buy it. I said, nah, I got enough. I'm cool. Nope, I understand what it is. And she got issues. I think I only had 1 and 3 at the time. So I got to get her 2. I told her I was going to get her 2, and I showed her because we do metal covers too. So I'll send you a package so you can see kind of what I give out. It's pretty dope. But but had I been stuck at a table, I wouldn't have had a chance to go see her. I wouldn't have had the chance to go, and tables work for people. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Everybody kind of do business different.
It depends. Yeah, it depends on who you are. Like, if you're Joe Mad, a table works for you. If you're
right, you don't want to be walking
if you're
around.
Joe Mad, they're giving you a table pretty much.
Right, and that's the thing. When they give me a table, I sit down.
If you're Joe Mad, Alvin Lee, if you're like Jim Lee, Kari Randolph, any of those guys, it's worth it to get a table. Even I don't know, is Karan Grant still hitting cons like that? I'm not sure, but like any of those guys, they could get a table and probably, man, that $300-$400 is like nothing, because I'm sure their fan base is, gonna buy something. You know what I'm saying?
Right, and then it's the notoriety, and then they have products at a certain price point that wins for them. If they say you got $15 posters or $20 posters, you sell you 100 of them, you back, and then you sign it, and people know who you are. Like, before I can sit down at the con, I still got to work this floor, maybe another year or two. You know what I mean? Yeah. And then I sit down, I'm like, okay, I done walked these floors. People know me. They've seen Epic. I done took the pictures. I done had the interviews. For me, I just feel like it ain't worth it yet.
Yeah.
Not yet. I just want, Epic to do some more numbers, and then I'll sit down. People come look for me, but right now I gotta go look for the people. I gotta go look for these young boys who don't have a hero that look like them. I gotta go look at their fathers. Hey, how you doing, sir? I'm Lonnie with Dark City Comics. I got some comics I want to give away. Saying if it's okay to give you and your son, and take a picture for my Instagram. And that's what I do. Boom, boom, boom. And I hand out cards and I talk to people. And so I get to really build that relationship, and people recognize me when I come back.
Yeah. And I do something very similar. Like, I chop it up Geek with like everybody. Like, I went to VidCon and I was like, well, you know what? I'm gonna go down there. I didn't have a badge actually when I went down there. Met up, got blessed with a badge and went on in. But, when I go, I make sure I take comics with me, and, we chop it up on superheroes. So I went down there, even though VidCon is very vlogger centric. It's really, really, really about vloggers. But I went down there and I was like, yo, you know what I'm saying? There's not many people out there that were into comics, but the people that were actually happy to talk about comics. We're like, you want to talk comics? Cool. So, I ended up giving away a bunch of comics, and just chopping it up Geek with a couple of people, and ended up, most of them made the video. I ended up meeting some cool folks too, like Black Nerd and Black Hokage, who's a gamer, and like stuff like that. But it's important to kind of like find a way to like even give back in the industry that you're in, even for people that are just like walking the showroom floor. And I agree, walking the floor sometimes is you get a different energy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I've sat at a table before. It wasn't my table; it was someone else's table. But it's definitely different when you're walking around and meeting people.
Yeah, 'cause
and
you get the vibe, you get the pulse of that, and then you get to see what people are into. You get to see what they're in line for, and how what you do measures up to that, and how it stacks up, and what, when I went to San Diego, zombies are still the thing, and so all of the Walking Dead, all of this booths were full, lines around the corner, and then you look at all the new Transformers had leaked, and Chillin actually had did some stuff with G.I. Joe. Like, he had designed one of the bags, and it was dope. And so the Hasbro booth or whatever, they had a little store or whatever it was, and it was packed. So you get to put your thing on the post on the floor. It's like, okay, this is what's popping. This is what they're doing. This is what people are flocking to. How does what we do measure up, And we're right in line. It's just, we got to find a way to turn their head this way. How do you do that? You're not coming to my table. I'm going to tap you on the shoulder. You already in here. You already got a bag. Just let me slide this in here. I ain't even going to get on your nerves. Hey, look, boom, boom, boom. And I'm going about my business. So I'm able to do that. I don't think I'll ever sit at the table. Even if I get blessed with a table, I'll make my daughter or my brother work the table. I'm not bothered with no table. I got to get out here and talk to these people. Like, my main thing is the people. Nobody ever came up to me. So I'm going to the people.
Now, quick news, real quick news. The Vampire Hunter D just hit its goal, man.
Yes, I saw
They hit their goal. They passed their goal. The Vampire Hunter D, Message from Mars, is going to get made. And now it's just on to their stretch goals, man. They got 37 days to go, and I'll be honest, I am so happy that this joint is getting made. I'm a big fan of Vampire Hunter D, and I mean, I guess since this weekend is Anime Con, it's very, I guess it's very apt that this would, go through and get made, because it's a character that I still wish we could get a third movie from. I covered it in a podcast like 2 weeks ago, where I was like, man, we need a third Vampire Hunter D movie. But it's just dope to see, like indie creators or creators, coming out and just making stuff and like the fans responding. Is definitely
Easton's
dope.
on the top of this, right?
What's up?
Easton's writing this, right? Easton's writing this, right? I've been seeing him push it.
He's been pushing it. He's the one. He's the one that's doing the adapting. He's gonna be writing. He's gonna be adapting it for the comics. So once again, another Brandon Easton joint where he's taking some material and crushing it. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, he killed that the Andre the Giant.
Yep.
I think they're adapting that. But what really, he did a Watson at Holmes a couple of years ago.
Yeah, I got that.
I think I want to say issue 6. Dude, it was CSI. It was a TV show. Like, you could see it.
Yeah.
And I'm a really superhero-esque type of, like, that's my thing. That's what I read. And Brandon so much, and I listen to, him and Brandon Thomas so much that I said, I got to grab it. Let me just see. And then I knew I was going to see him, so I said, shit, I'm going to go ahead and let him sign it. I ended up leaving it at the house. I was pissed. I was like, damn, I went to the con and left my book at the house. But it was a dope book. I read it a couple of times. That was one of the few books that I've read, one-shots that I've read a couple of times. I just thought it was a real good.
And I think he got nominated for like a glyph for that, I think.
Yeah, but he got
I'm trying to remember.
And Eisner Awards and all of that. I think he got the glyph for that, but he's been nominated for. I mean, it's a testament to hard work, though, man. Like, these guys, and they talk enough to where you can follow everything they doing, and they give you them new tidbits of information. So but it's dope. This Vampire Hunter D. I remember seeing it as a kid, and like him talking to his hand, and then he took the wrap off. I'm like, it's gross, but it's dope. It's gross, but it's dope.
Yeah.
Like his hands.
And like, if you look. Even if you look, man, like you look at the Kickstarter page for Vampire Hunter D, Message from Mars, they even have a backer that's given $1,000. You know what I'm saying? They got like people that are like truly invested in not only the character, but the vision of this project. You know what I'm saying? And the only reason people can, I mean, there's even someone who gave over $8,000.
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
They got 389 backers at 27,752.
So it's like, it goes to show that, like, you get the right creators together, because it's not just the name. If it was just the name alone, I don't think it would have made this goal without some serious creators behind it, and some, those creators having some serious accolades. You know what I'm saying? And it just goes to show that the fans are still willing, to come out and, really, really support something that's dope. And it's just dope to see, like, like Brandon Easton, Yoshitaka Amano, you know what I'm saying, like Christopher Shy, stuff like that, come together and just like make something dope. And it's a character that we've been waiting for so long. You know what I'm saying? So I'm glad, congratulations to those guys, the whole team over at, Vampire Hunter D Mission from Mars. Congratulations to y'all, man. I'm glad to see this go through. It's great.
The visuals look crazy.
Yeah, man. I love how that's drawn. Like, I love, like, just even like the small shots. I'm like, man, this is going to be fresh. So. Yeah,
the visuals is crazy. I can't wait till, the Kickstarter thing is like, you don't want to shoot off your Kickstarter thing too soon. Like, there's guys who kickstart every episode or every issue they do. I'm like, nah, man, people got to see you sacrifice and see you put in some work. You can't just come out the gate big. And,
yeah, and
what I mean?
Also, if you want to do something like every issue, Patreon is probably a better route than Kickstarter is. Because Patreon, you can have people support each issue that comes out.
Right.
So yeah, it's probably better route to go Patreon than trying to like kickstart each and every issue. It's crazy just to see the response and reaction from fans on Kickstarter, man. It's always good to see that there is that kind of like that fervor for this type of content and genre content and comics and like, sci-fi, stuff like that. And it's still out there and it still exists. And like the people are still interested.
I mean, the history of Vampire Hunter D, I mean, he's built a following, but to be able to look honestly at the creative team and see Brandon right there, that's dope.
Yeah, it's so. It's just it's dope. After we get off the phone, I'm gonna call him and just congratulate him, man, because like I'm so hyped. Like
when he was teasing that he was going over to write for TV. I knew it was Agent Carter. I called it. I was like, bro, they're going to put you on Agent Carter because you probably need to be on Agent Carter. And sure enough, he was on Agent Carter. And every time I see him, I was like, bro, I called it. I told you was going on Agent Carter. So, I mean, it's dope.
And season two was on point, too. I know there's a lot of people that have hate for season 2. I don't know why. I thoroughly enjoyed season 2. But like season 2 was dope, man. So I'm glad he was able to be, involved in such a dope show. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Because that was the only thing. I didn't watch S.H.I.E.L.D. I still can't watch it, but I watched Agent Carter. I was like, how can the same, like this show is dope. And I couldn't sit through it anymore S.H.I.E.L.D. And I wanted to because like I wanted to talk about all of this stuff, and I'm just like, I cannot do it.
Oh man.
But Agent Carter, I was like, yeah. He put it down on that episode.
So speaking of TV, man, what are you watching now?
I tried to watch a few episodes of Preacher last night, and maybe I was tired, and so I'm gonna watch it again. But right now, since Flash and Arrow and Supergirl has gone off and Gotham is over, I've been watching Penny Dreadful and I watched Game of Thrones, and that last episode of Game of Thrones was serious, bro. Yeah, so I watch anything that has to do with any kind of powers or something like that. I'm on it, So I watch mostly nerd stuff. Most of the nerd stuff.
All right. Well, right now, since everything's on the summer season, I've gotten in because like my wife, she likes a lot of procedural stuff.
Right.
So we caught up on all of the episodes of Law and Order SVU, and now we've gotten into watching this show called Tyrant, that's on FX.
That's
and
about. I've seen the previews for it.
The brothers that are in the Middle East, and they kind of have to, without giving away too much, they are in a family that, of course, has been ruling this country for X amount of years. Their father passes away, and it's between them two to kind of like figure out how to rule this country.
Right.
There's a lot of like drama and a lot of intrigue and a lot of, conspiracies and people behind each other's backs. But that's some other stuff I'm into. Give me a government and a conspiracy, I'm down. I'm definitely like that stuff. Like like sneaking around, secret documents and stuff like that. I'm into that too. So I've been enjoying Tyrant. We're like on episode, I think like 5 or 6, and really been enjoying it. But that's all I'm watching right now, as I have to finish up Voltron. I watched the first 6 episodes. I watched the first 6 episodes. Then I'm gonna watch the next 6 probably today.
So what you think about it so far? I've seen it all. What do you think about it so far?
The first 6 I already did a rundown for it on podcast, I think for 3 for 5, but I've enjoyed what I've seen. Like I've had a lot of laughs. And I also try to look at it through the lens of someone who like if I was, say, like a 13-year-old kid, would I like this? Like,
right.
Like if I was like between, like 9 and 13, and I've enjoyed it. Now, for me, as an adult, it moves a little slow at times, but I've enjoyed the vocal acting like immensely, man. Like the vocal actors they got on there, like there's a lot of jokes that go over well, and there's a lot of just like inflections when they're talking to each other that I'm like, wow, the voice cast is really, really putting it in for this. Like it seems
right.
like this is one that they seem to really care about. And for the first 6 episodes, I really enjoyed how they made Voltron look cool no matter what. Like that dude is always like standing right in front of the sunlight, or he's like posing.
That's the best. Yeah, like that's the best selfies ever.
Yeah, like dude be looking mad cool all the time.
Yeah, it's like you want him to kill you because he's gonna do it real quick.
Yeah, so it's like you do have kind of like your basic animated show tropes that are for like boys, like boys 9 to 13 or 9 to 12, whatever.
Right.
But that's just the industry.
Yeah,
that's that's the industry. So it's like I see them and I'm like, but then at the same time I understand how shows have to get made. You know what I'm saying? So so I don't really hate on that much because I understand that's kind of how it has to go down. So yeah, all in all, I've been enjoying it, man. I would recommend it, especially for like fathers and sons. I definitely recommend it. I think it's something that you guys. I mean, I think there's some good family stuff in there. There's some teamwork stuff in there that you can kind of like pull from and have some real semi-serious conversations with your son about. And even your daughter, because they revealed that the one character was a girl, which I knew from the first episode.
Yeah. I called it. Are they making?
I was like, isn't that a girl?
Yeah, I was like, is it a chick doing this one? Okay, all right, cool. I'm not angry at that. That's pretty dope.
I was like, yo, isn't that a girl? Why are they talking to her like she's a boy? And then, and then they revealed it. I was like, oh, okay. It was supposed to be a reveal for us. My bad. I'm like, I messed it up. I was like,
I already knew, dog. I already knew.
Yeah, it's like I messed that up. So, but yeah, I've enjoyed Voltron, man. Another Netflix series that I like is Knights of Sidonia. I like that. I really, because it's big robots. So I mean, it's like I mean.
I gotta check it. I didn't even. I gotta check that.
Yeah, there's a show called Knights of Sidonia, which is Sidonia. And it's big robots. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, that's all I need. I'm cool with that.
But yeah, it's an anime, big robots. It's pretty cool. And I think it'll be up your alley. In space and stuff. Some pretty cool animation.
Yeah,
I like the way it's animated, so I really enjoy that. Besides that, man, the only thing I've been watching is trying to think what else. Nah, that's pretty much it. We finally just caught up. We caught up on all the episodes of SVU. So now I'm gonna be looking into probably watching more movies again now that it's the summertime. Whether it's Netflix or whatever. Showed my wife Beverly Hills Cop the first time in her life yesterday. I was
What you think
I
of
was
it?
I was like, yo, this is classic, son. I'm like,
where you been?
I'm like, yo, because like when I was younger, Eddie was like the pinnacle of funny. You know what I'm saying? It's like Eddie was like
he was.
So like Beverly Hills Cop 1 and 2 are still like top quality movies in my opinion. The third one, you know what I'm saying, hey, it happens. But the first two, man.
Yeah, I mean, it rarely makes it
the
through,
first two is on point, man. Like for real. So as far as series, the only thing I'm waiting for next is Strain comes back in August. And they're moving it deeper. I've noticed that they're moving it deeper into the summer, which makes me think that FX may be trying to move this into a normal series slot, which could be cool.
Right.
Because usually the Strain started like a little earlier in the summer. So I'm interested to see how this season goes. The trailer for this season looks like it's going to be pretty action packed.
Yeah, it does look crazy.
But I also remember the trailer for season 2.5 of Star Wars Rebels, which made you think that every episode was going to be like jam packed with action. And
I had to walk away from Star Wars.
Man, Rebels. I like Rebels, but I think this expanded amount of episodes isn't good for it. I think that sometimes, kind of like what happened with Sleepy Hollow. Season 1 of Sleepy Hollow was amazing, but it was only only 13 episodes. When they tried to expand that joint to like 18 or 22, whatever it was, it ended up with a whole bunch of fillers. And I think sometimes shows are just best served like, yo, this is better if it's just 13 or 10 or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, but at the same time, I understand network TV. Network TV has a 22 or 24 week schedule. You know what I'm saying? That's just how it is. And that's sort of like the paradigm that's set up now. So when they tried to, make that work, it didn't really translate that well, and you got a bunch of filler episodes in that second season that people were not feeling. A lot of people were not feeling. So So I guess we'll see how TV kind of changes and takes form in the next couple of years, because I do think that people would be down for shorter seasons if we're going to get better content. But then you got to deal with how people get paid and stuff like that, and that's a whole issue in itself.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because that's what it really boils down to. It boils down to that money.
Yeah, it's about the money.
It's about that money, son.
Bottom line is about that check.
Oh, man. But yeah, man, let's go in there. I'll go in and wrap it up. Yo, my man Lonnie, are there any shout-outs that you have?
I just want to shout out all the creators, bro. Keep pushing, keep writing, keep drawing, keep brainstorming, keep directing, keep doing special effects, keep doing whatever it is you're doing to push the genre and push the movement. You know what I mean? I think it's dope to be able to see creators that look like you and think like you and from the same area that you're from. It's dope to see creators from all over the world. You know what I mean? And see guys getting busy over in Africa, and see guys, chicks in Australia drawing their ass off, and see people in the UK, and see people all over the place, like really going hard for the genre. So yeah, I just want to shout out everybody working, man.
Word up. Now, where can the good people find you at online?
Dark City Comics, everything. Facebook, Dark City Comics. Instagram, Dark City Comics. Twitter, Dark City Comics. DarkCityComics.com. You holler at me, darkcitycomics@gmail. Like, everything is Dark City Comics. So if
what up. And I will have the links in the description below, y'all.
Yeah, dope. Yeah, you can find us anywhere. Call me, holler at me, inbox, chat. Always, you like an issue, pick it up. Every now and then I'll throw a special, but it's like $3. You know what I mean? So
what up?
It's hard to be like, oh, I got a special, another book for $3. $3. So, but yeah, man, just reach out to us. Always willing to talk to people and chop it up.
Word up, word up. Well, you heard it from Lonnie, man. Go out to darkcitycomics.com. Check them out. Pick up the book. The book starts fast, so you can start at issue 1, and you don't have to worry about kind of like going through this long prologue. They kind of put you.
I hate
they kind of put you in it.
Right in it. Yeah.
A long prologue can be good if it's written well with interesting characters. The problem is usually we don't get those interesting characters. Usually,
with indies, you don't get a shot to story build initially. Like, people want to know everything right then and there. So it's like I got to drop them in the middle and then go forward and then jump back and then jump back forward. Like once I get to people, now I have prologue, but I was like, do I do this whole thing or do I just start? Come on, let's just get right into the fight. So the prologue will come out, but I just had to get people into action so they can see what he can do.
Yeah.
And then, we can, bring him back.
The alphas are real, y'all. So it's a thing, man. Like, I'm looking at these covers, I'm looking at these panels. There's some hard work that got put into it. Also, forgot, let me shout out, JC Grand, Luis Figueredo.
Yeah, he is super dope.
Man, who else can I shout out? Very Wong,
Brian Fajardo.
Yeah.
Very Wong. ChrisCross. Anthony Wells.
Yeah, all of those guys.
Charles Taylor.
All of you guys doing art on the books, and I'll try to find their. If you send me their links, I'll put their links in the description as well, so you can check out their artwork also.
Yeah,
because a lot of hard work went into this, y'all, and I think it's something you'll enjoy. If you like superheroes, I definitely think you should give it a shot, because I think there's something new to enjoy here. But of course, as always, VA, what up? LA, what up? RVA, you got my heart. And of course, like, comment, and subscribe, and we will holler at y'all later. Remember to chop it up below in the comments. Let me know what you think. Go grab, Dark City. Tell us what you think, man. I'd love to chop it up with y'all over these comics. Don't be too spoiler heavy, but we will get into it. Anyway, it's been another issue, y'all. Another real good one.
Man. Appreciate it.
Yeah. It's been real good. So, of course, from us to y'all, peace.